Okay, so for today, we will be discussing a new topic, and it's like a new portion or segment of the entire self, which is the digital self. So before we'll start with our lecture for today, I would just like to ask everyone here if what's their understanding with the word of digital self. Okay. So anyone can share or like your thoughts about like what for you, what is the digital self? Okay. So yes, the digital self is your online identity. So later on we will be discussing on um some behaviors that we want to portray online. Well, of course, the positive ones. And also at the same time, try to understand that the digital self is not really your real or true self, but rather it's just like a part of your entire self. Okay. So so here are the topics that we will be discussing for today. So the self in the age of the technology, the digital identity, online disinhibition effect, and managing responsible online behavior. So we'll be discussing it one by one. Okay. So as we all know that we are no longer or rather we are all familiar with the social media. I believe all of us here have their social media accounts, no, or like an online identity, perhaps maybe through like some applications, no, or like emails, because at this age, no, at this particular age of time, um the internet, no, we is already part, no, is already part on our daily lives. I believe that when we had our or we when we had like our lockdown, no, our katong during those mga highest peak during the pandemic, no nga, there's really a limited face to face interaction. uh I believe all of us uh, really dwell into the internet because we need to move forward on our daily lives. Like for perhaps in our work, no, we needed the internet through like video calls, video conferences, no, or like communications with our coworkers, and especially to you students, no. Well, before, well, of course, I know for a fact that the online classes is already rampant in the Western countries, but here in the Philippines, especially or particularly here in our university, we're not really into online learning. No, uh, um, when the pandemic started, no, we already had our Google classes, Google Meets, no, and through it we as time progresses, we somehow adapt, no. So I know that all of us here already had the experience, no, on interacting in social media. Okay, so let's define first what is social media. So social media is defined as websites and applications that make it easier to create and share information, ideas, and interests. So whatever you post online, may it be just like a mere picture or like a video or like a music perhaps. No, so whatever you post it online, that's already an information. And at the same time, that's your self-expression. Okay. So if you've been if you were able to observe like mga vloggers or like mga content creators, they have somewhat like a genre, no, on whatever they post online. May it be like educational or like for purely entertainment or like unsa ba that somehow somewhat like have a a focus of interest, no, like for example mga gaming, no, live streaming of like gaming or mga unsa ba K-pop, no, or music or whatever. um it's more on if you are sharing something online, there's somewhat like a trend what you somehow post, and it somehow reflect no nga your interests, your likes or hobbies as a person. But then again, let's make it clear that whatever you post online, it doesn't just merely define you as as a person. um it's just like a tiny portion, no, just a part of who you really are, or your real self. Okay, so through the use of social media, people may act differently since interaction in social media do not happen face to face and there is no physical presence required. Okay, so I believe we know a lot of people like this, no? Nga when when you chat them online or interact with them online, um, they are way different when you see them face to face, like their behavior perhaps. No, there are some cases that they're so very talkative online. They can they're so vocal, no, kind of very active in online, but in reality when you talk with them they're so quiet, no, nga na, very very opposite of what you expect them to be. So mo na siya. That's but in some cases naman say like of course they somewhat like correlates or like um murag same lang, no, there's like a similarity to some people, but on my personal observation there are a lot of people, no, a lot of people that uh they act way differently when you have already this prejudgment of a person nga, ingani tali ni siya, no, and then but in reality when you know deeper and you know really know personally the person, like it's the social media, no, is just like murag taphaw ra siya, no, of of the person's personality. Okay, so unsa ba ni siya, this is called online disembodiment. So with this, people are less likely to display their real selves to others, especially to strangers. Okay. So of course in social media you can already have or you can create no your own profile, even though it's not real. Okay. So people tend to disclose like little information of their true selves, and with that they somehow create a persona or a mask of their online identity. Okay, so let's see the social media usage here in the Philippines. Okay. So there were 92.05 million social media users in the Philippines in January 2022. So the number of social media users in the Philippines at the start of 2022 was equivalent to 82.4% of the total population. So take note that our total population here in the Philippines is 111.8 million. So out of 100.8 million people here in the Philippines, 82.4% have a social media account and are already know no already know how to use social media and have an online community and interaction, no. So please take note also that with that 82.4%, not all of it is kuan you know uh same person, or rather like have like a unique account, because there are some people that have multiple accounts, so probably nakauta na siya ng 82.4, but still 82.4% is really high, no, to imagine nga you can really tell that Filipinos are more into social media. Okay, so yeah, and of course here, no, you as a student, no, I for sure all of us here have at least one social media account, maybe like a Facebook or Messenger, no, because again it's very um useful and it's needed already, no, on our daily activities, like especially in communication, no. And of course, in your education, you have to communicate with the teachers or your classmates. And also, we have our Google Classroom. You have to pass your requirements there, no? So it's already part of our daily lives. Okay, so let's talk about digital identity. Okay, so people generally have role identities. So these are the characters and roles an individual creates as a member of a particular social group. So the greater the commitment of an individual to a particular identity, the greater the importance of this identity. So I would like to set an example on my own self. So I have like multiple role identities online. So if you were able to observe, I have my own personal account on Facebook, and I also have solely for UB, no, UB or schoolwork inquiries nga Facebook account. So um that's like that's an example of various role identities online. So if you can see, like on my UB Facebook account, most of the the information that I share online are somewhat related to education, or perhaps like an information related to the University of Bohol, no. And then for my personal account, it's really, it's way different on what I post, because I know for sure that there are some posts on my personal account that I cannot share on my UB Facebook account, because I know for a fact that most of my friends there are my students, no, and I have to portray such like a role identity that I'm a teacher, no, and I'm an employee in the University of Bohol, so I need to separate. Okay, so I know for sure that you also have that one, no, mga role identities, like for example, kanang like even sa ako na lang gihapon nga example, no, like I have a role identity in Facebook, because it depends on the online community. Like for example, sa Instagram, it's more on pictures and aesthetic and ana, no. So we somehow adapt, no, or like adapt to that particular community, no, in the online world, based on the apps that we're using, and also our viewers or like our friends online. Okay. So, in an online environment, one's role identity is vitally important in order for him or her to project himself or herself in the said environment. So, I already explained a while ago that it depends. No, it depends on your viewers, your friends, no, and the social media platform that you're using. It will depend on the information that you will be sharing. Like for example, kanag TikTok. So it's normal for us to see people there nga having like mga dancing or dubbing, may ana, because the community there is ing ana ang information nga always nga ginahatag from their viewers or from the content creators, no. So yan na ba, you will somehow adapt, or like for example sa Twitter, more on tweets lang, more on information, and then yung magsulat lang, typing. So it really depends. And your identity also would somehow adapt to that particular social media or online community or environment. Okay, so participation in virtual environments may entail changes that may affect a person's sense of self. So in some cases, people present themselves differently in online interactions as compared to the face-to-face interactions they engage in. So this is very normal, no? And again, we have to take note that we cannot judge a person, no, um based on what uh what he or she shares online, because we really need to know or learn the person really well, no, in a face to face interaction. Okay. Probably I can just also give like a short sharing with this one. No, this digital identity, because when I had like when I participated like in a webinar, no, and one of our speakers is like a renowned psychologist. He was really an expert. You can really tell that he's really an expert on his field. Um, he shared at the very beginning on our webinar that he was somewhat, I don't know, he was kind of shocked, or wala po talaga siya nalain, but he was kind of shocked nga. There were some people messaging him and somewhat questioning his credibility as being the speaker of that particular webinar. The main or the sole reason was that 'di ba, when you will be informing the audience nga, uy, naatay webinar, of course you will somewhat post an information online, 'di ba, or like somewhat a picture, a poster perhaps, no, nga, okay, this will be our webinar, the topic, and then this is speaker. Then some of the participants of that certain webinar search the guest speaker, that psychologist, no. They search him online on Facebook specifically, and what they saw online was like mga memes or shares, mga gina-share sa psychologist sa iyang Facebook account, which is on a public setting. Kana raw ito pong mga binuang or well, mga sense. And so most of them are anime, and then mga memes nga funny nga ambot murag walay mga unod ba, and they somewhat question this credibility nga are were the organizers really sure that this person will be the speaker of this particular webinar, because the webinar was so deep and really need an expert to do the presentation. Miyamoto, he was somewhat I don't know, basig nahiubo siya gamay. I don't know for him, pero ning share lang gud siya nga some of the webinars ay participants reach out to him and are really are sure nga siya ba nga na. So and when he started the presentation, actually, oh my god, murag sampal sila no sa kanang unsay nga nani sa speaker that you can really tell or see the way he presented, he was really an expert to the field. The way he interacted, kahit online, he was so good and very informative. So murag kung katong mga tawhana nga nag-question sa iyang credibility, somewhat like basig naulawan slide tali for sure. But yeah, that's the digital identity. You cannot really uh judge the person based on what he or she shares online, because again, majority are you know just like a persona or a mask of a person. Kana bang not 100% that what he shares ing ana na siya nga tao. That doesn't mean that that person is sharing memes or like mga binuang-binuang bagani. Then you would say that the person is like that already. No. So, mo na siya. That's a digital identity. And that's the downside of it, because people tend to judge you immediately based on what you share. But we have to educate people that, you know, don't believe 100% of what you see online, because there are a lot of fake identities, no? Somewhat masking their real self. Okay. So let's talk about more on how social media affects us, no? Based on research. So how social media affects our feelings, our sleep, and then self-esteem. Okay. So according to Clinical Psychological Science 2017, there's a rising rates of depression that have coincided with the rise in smartphone use. So the increase was driven almost exclusively by females. Okay. So as you can see there, there's a really a correlation on the number of hours or usage of social media and depression. I don't think that it's not just solely for depression, but also to some mental health problems. Okay. So most of them are actually females. Okay. Of course, mag-post man sad no ang mga males, but based on observation, you can really see nga females are more into posting online, especially mga pictures or like videos, and it could somehow affect no a person's kind of bang you tend to compare yourself and to the others, no, nga ing ana nga why that person was able to achieve that certain goals na in his or her life, and then same raman unta mi og age, you tend to question your self-worth, and then at the same time tend to become insecure about yourself, no, especially to women nga kana bitaw mga body goals, no. So um that's the downside of it. And then adolescents spending more than 3 hours per day using social media may be at increased risk for mental health problems. So we also need to check, no, if you have some kids or like teenagers at home, no, we really need to check their social media accounts, no, and then uh also limit at least their social media usage. Okay. At their age, you have to take into consideration their maturity levels. Okay, mo na if na mga instances mangon nga like the child would rethink that, oh, why is a why is my classmate have like more likes, like kana lang no, kana mag-compare og likes, more likes than me, like why that person is having this mga good compliments online, then how about me, why am I not getting or gaining these likes. So yung ana ba, somewhat they incorporate the likes, the number of likes and reactions, no, sa ilahang self-worth, no. So um murag bantayon nun sa, because that's yeah, their mind would really think about that one. So ang maturity sa mga teenagers, so we have to really check on them and uh explain to them that the likes and number of reactions and comments or positive comments online, no, would not really define who you really are as a person. Okay, so of course it's good man to gain likes or like mga positive compliments, but dili lang kay kana lang abasihan on your entire or real self. Okay. And then heavier social media use was associated with poorer sleep patterns. Well, of course, the more you use social media, then the more nga deprive ang imong sleep. And then the lesser sleep you have or the lack of sleep you have, it could lead to depression or any or other mental health problems and vice versa. Okay? So, a 2017 study by the British Psychological Society found that receiving likes didn't make people feel any better about themselves or lift their mood when they were down. Okay, so what is online disinhibition effect? So, this is when people adopt fake identities. They're likely to engage in behaviors they would not do in real life interaction. So there are two categories or main categories of behaviors that fall under online disinhibition, which is the benign disinhibition and toxic disinhibition. Okay, so let's discuss it one by one. So what is benign disinhibition? So it occurs when people tend to self-disclose more on the internet than they would in real life. So I think that I believe that this benign disinhibition is less harmful compared to toxic disinhibition. Even though that a person is making fake identities online, at least kana lang in that level nga. The reason for that is the person is making a fake identity is because they do not want to disclose their personal information online. So daghan nga na, like if you've seen mga Facebook accounts nga not their real names, not their real pictures, nga na. As long as they're not doing like mga works nga, like mga illegal works, like such as scamming or like mga human trafficking, nga na, no? So, pero kung more on like on just a fake identity that they don't want to know the online community nga, that's you who is really using that account, okay na siya. As long as wala kay ginabuhat nga maot. Like, basig, you're just making, like, for example, no, just making like a TikTok account just for the sake nga, scroll lang ka mga videos, follow lang ka sa mga bet ni mga mata, but you know, you don't like to have a content with it. Basta lang kayo nalagay account and then your name, no, it's not your real name. Okay lang na siya. But for toxic disinhibition, people take part of this when they use rude language, bully or threaten others on online platforms. So they make fake accounts, and at the same time, they use their fake accounts to bully people, no, threaten, and kana bang or do scamming ing ana. If you notice, there are some mga scenarios nga they would grab some pictures sa usa ka real account, and then they would make a new name, and then mangayo or mangutang bitaw sa mga tao, and then they, oh my god, that's you can you will be kuan ana, no, makasuhan kaging ana, no. So illegal na sad na siya nga level. Okay, so that's toxic disinhibition or like bully. For instance, kato bitawng kuan, like there are a lot of trolls online, no? Kana mga during the election, no, there were like a lot of trolls nga kanang they they make accounts, no, just to 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 bully or to threaten or to say negative stuffs to the person nga have a different political views of them. So there are a lot of people do this actually. Okay. So these are some toxic social media breeds bad behavior, and I hope that we will not be practicing this one, no, even at social media. So of course, first is narcissism, no. So these are people that really think highly of themselves, no, based especially based on the likes that they gained or like the number of views that they have online nga pagkangan nga abot og pila ka thousand of likes and like views of their videos. They already think highly of themselves nga murag mudako na noon ang ulo ba. So then let's you know um dili lang kay kanara ang basihan. And then lies, of course. Of course, if you will be using fake accounts and then you're trying to scam someone, no. So this already lying and bullying. And then spying and stalking. For spying, stalking, for worst case scenarios, ang mahitabuan ano is if they would really try to hack your account and spy or look for your activities, especially if they would really want to see your online banking activity mo ni hadlok, no, and then they would try to access your online accounts and get some money from it. So mo na hadlok. And then stalking, stalking where you're going or where you at or what you're doing, no. And then ang hadok ana, if we really disclose a lot of information online nga asa ka, no, so or what you're doing at the current moment, no. So we have to be careful because wala ta kabalo nga someone is stalking you and then would try nga to go to to that certain place kung aha ka, and then would follow you or do something bad, no, against you. Okay, so let's look on how to manage responsible online behavior. Okay, so first is do not post or send anything that will embarrass you. So this is a really or like kuan ni siya, reminder to all of us here that you before you post something online, you have to think about that what 3 years or 5 years from now magmahay ba ko nga ako di siyang gi-post, no? So you have to really think about it. Um, especially kanino, even though that how private, no, how private the conversation is, no, makaingon ka nga wala wala man ako gi-post sa feed ma'am, or like wala man ako gi-upload ma'am, but the reality is what once you post something online, or once you post or send something online, that's already the information is already there. Okay, so there's really a possibility that someone could retrieve that information. Okay, kahit natali nga nakadelete na siya nga conversation, uh but the idea is that you already posted it in the internet, and then the internet already has that information. Okay, so let's all be careful, especially those mga kanang mga nude photos, no, or like mga video scandals, no. Even though nga makaingon ka nga it's again it's a private conversation between you and your what partner or boyfriend or girlfriend, you dili jud ka kumpensaan because it's there's really a possibility that someone could hack and retrieve that photo or video scandal of yours, and muna na uh it could spread, no, it could spread online. So magbahay na noon tang tanan, no, so kung inga naon, so please do not post or send anything that will embarrass you. And then avoid posting statements when experiencing strong emotions, especially at the height of emotions nga you're angry, no? I've seen a lot of people, like for example, kana bitaw naiaway, or like the most common thing is someone is cheating in the relationship, and then the person nga as if like the victim perhaps nga um would really nag, and then tag the person, or like the kabit perhaps, no, and nga na ba, so uh if possible settle it face to face, no, nga na magchismis na ng mga tao, and then ang ending you'll embarrass yourself, no, it's not just like it's not nga imo gipakauwawan ang kinsay nag-cheat or whoever that is, but you're also embarrassing yourself. Okay? So, pagpiestahan ka ng chika. Okay? So, avoid posting statements when experiencing strong emotions. So, if possible, you have to calm down for a bit, and then, think. No, really think and be logical. No, nga, karon nga nasuko ka, mupas ra ni siya, passing ra ni siya. So, you have to control yourself. Okay, control yourself, and um you know be calm. So if you know someone that, especially like a very close friend of yours, or like a family member that's really nagging online, no, try to console them, no, and reach out privately, of course, nga kanang ayo dili sana kay mudako manggod mudako ang storya, and then again it will embarrass you. It will become like a hot topic, no, mamarites na ng mga tao diha. So, no, let's avoid those kind of stuffs. And then do not hang out with the wrong crowd online. So, if your online community is purely like negative na, or like a lot of bashing is happening, or it could somewhat affect your mental health, then I highly suggest no nga to block those kind of people, or if dili na matabang og block, you can just start a new or fresh account, no, and then carefully select those people that for you could provide a positive impact onto your online identity, and also to yourself as well. And be careful with oversharing, especially confidential information that may be used irresponsibly. So I guess it's somewhat similar to I've mentioned a while ago nga do not post or send something no nga that could embarrass you later on. and then respect other people in the online community. Okay, so um of course we have different views in life, we have different beliefs or principles in life, and dili na nimo makontrol no ang tanang tao to think the same as you are. Okay, a very good example here is what happened during the elections, no. Oh, it was kind of sad though nga. I've known a lot of people that really affected their relationships, mga friendships, no, because of their different political views. No, so kana bang they're trying to campaign their desired kanang politician, no, or and then the person, and then if lahi ang pagtanaw sa uban, no, they would, I mean, it's okay to campaign, but ang downside magud adto is other other people would really or literally cross the line. So personal na ang attacks ba. So ang nahitabo, of course, nag-away na, no? So if possible, let's all be respectful, no? If lahi siya political views nimo or whatever or sa bang beliefs ana or whatever mga prinsipyo sa usa ka tawo, then just respect the person. If you don't want to see the person's post, then you can block the person, no? Kaysa naman makig-away pa ka. Okay? So let's respect one another in the online community. So to end my lecture for today, please be reminded that evaluate everything you share on social media. Encourage positive habits to increase happiness and combat low self-esteem. Okay? So I hope that you've learned something at least for this lecture. It's very timely, no, and this is a lecture nga to always keep us reminded, no, to practice positive social media behaviors, and at the same time be not 100% solely attached to online identity, because that's not our real selves. Okay, so I guess this ends my presentation. So if you have some questions or clarifications, you just uh, can reach out on my email or Google Classroom or Facebook Messenger. Okay, so thank you so much for your attention and have a great day ahead.